Hello, welcome back to part 3 of the ATST build and a continuation of the microphone problems I had with the camera the last time round. At the moment we're going through some really boring sandy details on the eyelids as I've started thinking of them on the main turret. There we go. All I'm going to do with these are masking pieces for when I actually spray everything when it comes to do the final paint job, so that I'm not spraying paint directly into the cabin, because as you're about to see in the next episode, I think it'll be part 4, we're actually getting inside the cabin properly and painting. We're doing the prep work now for it, and I'm trying to catch a glimpse of whatever paint that was. I'll throw the caption in any second now for what shade that actually is, and then we're basically going around base coating the inside of the cabin, and that's the rear panel. As you can see again, just doing really light coats to let the pre-shading show through. Just gives you that nice little shadow effect, and it really does. If you get it right, it takes out half of the work that you have to do afterwards on your weathering and stuff. Is there any paint going on? There you go. Block nozzle, that's what that was. Now you can see why I leave the crown off, the crown guard. On the Haute it is kind of a bad design. More up-to-date airbrushes, so that airbrush is about 8 years old now. More up-to-date ones have a cut out from the guard so you can actually get to your needle without taking your guard off. You get a vortex of air that dries paint on the end of your nozzle, and actually you get a big blockage, and then you get a massive great big spit if you're not too careful. And it's always in the middle of your paint job. So with the hatches I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to paint the interior there, and then when I come to do the actual top coat, once the cabin's built together, I'll be putting the closed hatch on so that we're not spraying paint into the booth again. And then even though I know that that's not visible, that back panel there, I'll still paint it anyway just to be safe. That console is absolutely gorgeous. If you're in a position to do so, I strongly urge you to buy that kit just for that console. The amount of detail in it is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not too sure what's explaining there. And this bit, I'm going to be really brave. After a Twitter chat with ModelMakingGuru, I was persuaded to take a chunk out of the face of chicken bones right there on that panel. That's where the decal should go, and there I'm just showing that the plastic should be thick enough to take a gouge, which will be going in that direction. Pregnant pause, because I'll be using this thing. At the moment the drill's actually on a flexible shaft, and that's the dental burr I'll be using. I've actually used this technique on the Farmo I was building recently. You build the track together, fingers crossed that I don't get this wrong. The tracks that you build, they actually give you a rubber pad on the track itself, and I gouged into it to make it look like the rubber was worn. I'll show that in another video at some point. And there's my spares box, all the bits and bobs that you get from other kits, all go into a massive great big box. If anybody needs any greeblies, give me a shout. I've got thousands of them. Look, just racks and racks and racks of stuff that have never been used. And kits these days, especially 32 scale kits, tend to throw in a ridiculous amount of bombs that you will never use. So I dropped tank off one of my German planes. Don't know why that's in there, that should be on the plane itself. Oh, it's just tons of stuff. So if you need any greeblies, give me a shout. This Ferrari was actually my nephew's. He got it for his birthday, and there was a broken part, and I wrote off to Revel, because it's a Revel kit, and said, look, there's a part already broken in the box, can you send me the replacement? And they sent me an entire separate kit just for one part, which is very, very kind of them. Normally you have to buy them separately, but now they sent me an entire kit. It's great. So I'll be using the underside of that Ferrari to test my bravery with the Dremel before I actually cut into chicken face. I need a new name for it. I can't keep calling him chicken bombs or chicken face. In the comments below, give me a new name for him. And I'm showing there that you've got an adjustable thing on the Dremel, or this particular version of a rotary tool. So I'm going to put it on quite a low setting, so I'm not going to burn through the plastic. There we go, number 2, which is fairly slow, to be honest. More camera mount gimbal problems. Got a new one on the way as well. I've had enough of that one now. You do get what you pay for. So be brave. And if you go face on, as I'm doing there, with the Dremel, you get a huge gouge. If you go sideways on, you get a thinner gouge, because you're using the edge of the burr rather than the face of it. That's the difference. You go deeper with the flat edge, and the thin edge that I'm using now, you go a lot thinner, a lot shallower. But if you stay in one place for too long, you will go all the way through. What I tend to do now, I found this out when I was doing the Farmo tracks, just run some glue over the top, just to stabilise it all. And it softens the plastic and makes it look more natural, so it's not as, I don't know, gougy, as cut to pieces. I'm trying to find the right word for it, I'm tired. Working ridiculous shifts again at the hospital. Be brave. Be brave. At this point my hand was really shaking. It really was. And then, be brave. Get in. Get it done. And, yep, that should do it. And again, run some glue over the top in a second. And then there we go, blow the stuff away. And get some glue. Just run it over, just to seal it in. Make it look more natural. And then put it down and leave it.
Yeah. Don't need that. Really? Okay, so probably see from the shiny thing there. There's 2 layers of this stuff through the airbrush. I tend to use this before I actually start doing any extra bits and bobs. It just protects the layers underneath. So when I start doing any brush painting in these tiny little details here, I tend to do that. Wax some of that over the top, 2 coats, and then leave that overnight to dry, and then yeah, I'm going to bed. It's tired. It's tired? I'm tired. Oh great. Mouth is... Oh. See, that's how tired I am. The mouth doesn't work anymore. So, I'll leave that there. Legs have had a coat as well. Ooh, shadows. Don't like that. Aha! There we go. So, a few bits and bobs in here. I've had a couple of coats of varnish as well. What I've decided to do as well is, there's a lot of as wells in this clip. Over here, we've got the 3.4 point cannon thing on the other side of the cheek gel, whatever. I don't know. I decided to leave that pre-shaded so it looks like it's been used straight away. So it'll save a little bit of weathering. Should do. Oh, crikey! Here we go. Oh. Stand by, let's. Stand firm. There we go. Oh. I will figure this out one day. Stay. No, stay. 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 Good lad. I was going to tell you something. What was I going to tell you? No. I think that was done. Yep. So leave all that to dry overnight and then come back and then paint the insides in here. All these gribblies. Throw it all together. Use the closed eyes as a masking for doing everything else. Paint the open eyes. Spray the outside with those. Oh, not making any sense, am I? Good night. People interrupting me every time I'm bloody filming. Ooh. Yeah, we're going with your focus. This old fella here, dark red blue. I love this colour. Yeah, I do like this colour. So I'm not even going to do any clean out. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, clean out. Bottom nozzle. Tiny little bit of air just to mix it. Bloop. And spray through. And then it's all nicey. Give the needle. Ooh. That's why it's coming out quick. I didn't shove the needle home. There we go. So yeah, this is what happens when you rush. You don't get much chance to prepare what you're doing. It's pretty. There we go, that's better. And ready. Start away from the base. Stick some in there as well. Flip you around, like so. And obviously, as you can see here, the longer you spend on it, the more paint you put down, the more pronounced your shading will be. Just come back in and do a little bit more there. in my nozzle. Just while I've got that in there as well, I'm going to just give these a really quick base coat. This is the thing I love about Vallejo as well, because it is pre-thinned. It's basically doing the same thing that I did with the XF, whatever colour it was, XF20, like I did in the first video. It's already pre-thinned, so I can actually use this as a primer as well. So I would recommend leaving it for a good few hours. Before you do anything else with it. And as these two colours mixing now, you can probably see a little bit. It's actually lightening that grey a little bit, so it's more like a German grey now. That's kind of cool. There we go. Dry now? Yeah. Right then. Quick change, get rid of all that. And then we'll do some extra work with that, I think. Bring out some of these. Probably near them. Oh, doing that with a needle. Silly boy. And we'll do some work with that. Show that grain off. There we go. The grain of the running board. I do like that. So, what colour should we use for that? I'll find some paint and then we'll come back and do that in a second. This is where professionals start yelling at me. What are you doing? As I say, this is only a test piece. Just get my hose over there. So I'm not too bothered about how scruffy this looks. Are you ready? Let's clean that nib. Next on my shopping list is a new airbrush. So just going in with khaki brown, I think it is. As you can see, I'm on a lower air pressure. So I've got control, or more control of where I'm going. And I'm only pulling back a tiny little bit on the trigger, so I'm only pulling back just a tiny bit and pushing down midges. Really is a tiny amount of air coming through, and then that way you've got better control. You can see that it's quite a fine line that I'm using. Hope the hands aren't in the way too much. There we go. So it's quite a nice, loose about this hoose. It's a nice gentle mid-brown colour, which we can hopefully demonstrate later. Show the people, Tony, that'd help. So what the plan is I'm going to do that half of the running board in a darker brown oil paint, and that side with a lighter, either a lighter brown or a yellow type colour to try and lighten it up. So that's going to be more of a pine, that'll be more of a, I don't know, chestnut or something, oak. I'm not too familiar with the wood at the moment, and hopefully we can bring that detail out a little bit. I can show you some masking techniques as well that I'll be using at some point. No, we'll leave you on the sprue. Yes. Right, so as you can see there's a big blob of wet stuff. So we'll let that dry for a couple of hours. And I'll do an over top coaty, blend that in. So it look like should look more like this with the legs. It's all nicely and mottledy and stuff like that. Nicely and mottledy. So it's all blended in. So we can still see the shadows, and then we'll varnish the lot and then work over that and stuff like. And words are hard because it's getting late again. I'm literally doing 20 minutes work at a time and it's doing me head in. But it's the long bank holiday weekend. Soon I can finally get the giddy hands in. Finally do some proper work. So let that dry, varnish, and then off we go. And now for the boo-boo pointing out. Let's get a pointy stick, there we are, this will do. If you have a really close look there, it looks like crap, basically. That's what happens if you brush paint a varnish over a top coat of paint that's not quite dried. And that's the importance of being patient. Let your paint dry. So, some point over tomorrow, hopefully, I can show you how I'm going to fix that. You can see it again there, where the paint's actually peeled away. As I've been brush painting. Because I'm impatient. I'm silly like that. So, I'll show you tomorrow, or the next clip after you see this one, how I'm going to fix that. Be patient. Wait for it to cure. Okay? Yes, I'm talking to you. Stop it. Be patient. Wait.